I think this is the most interesting panel. Even though the other sessions are open, I think this is almost we have 60% of the crowd there, only because of you two guys, and most people are now joining here also. So before I come to your question, sir, I just want to set the context. Agriculture is always at crossroads, and millions are working, and the system which moves food from farm to consumer is always inefficient, outdated, or fragmented. You two guys have not spoke about it, but has re-engineered the entire thing. Next, maybe 20, 30 minutes, we will try to bring your learned experience, lived experience on this table. This is what we are trying to do. But I don't want to introduce you. Everybody knows who you are. But we want to know how you become this who you are. Sir, this for you.
Sure. So thank you, and thanks the entire fraternity for inviting Dehaat to this platform. It's an honor for us. My name is Shyam Sundar Singh, and I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Dehaat. So Dehaat is essentially a full-stack agri marketplace built for farmers. It's a phygital model where farmers get connected via different physical and digital means for their entire agricultural requirements, be it their market requirement or with their agri input requirement or any kind of services that they need. Why it became so? Because we had, like, all co-founders, including me, all had similar background of a techno management background, but a family background of agriculture from Bihar. We were all from Bihar. And we realized that, okay, if we have, there was a passion towards agriculture, there was a passion towards rural supply chain. And then when we started exploring what can we do around working with farmers, we realized that, okay, what they need foremost is a platform which can connect them directly to all kind of agri institutions, right? There are large agri institutions, whether they are buyers, whether they are sellers of agri inputs, whether they are service providers, banks. But in between, there are so many different layers that any kind of customization and direct benefit to farmers, that become difficult. Hence, overall concept of Dehaat from day zero had been to become that one-stop platform for the last mile delivery of agricultural products and services. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's like you have given an overview how the journey, how this Dehaat has started. Sir, next, how Ninjacart journey and why, how you became a co-founder and what is your journey on that?
Okay. Ellarku vanakkam. So I'm Sharath. So I don't have such a, say, a story of passion of agriculture. So ஒரு விஷயம் புரிஞ்சது, வேலைக்கு போனால் வேலைக்கு தான் போயிட்டே இருக்கணும், தொழில் பண்ணால் கொஞ்சம் காசு ஜாஸ்தி பண்ணலாம் போல இருக்குது, ஓகேவா? திஸ் வாஸ் த தாட் ப்ராசஸ். அண்ட் வி செட் ஓகே ஏதோ பண்ணலாம், ஓகேவா? And then I have 7 failed startups before Ninjacart, right? So we had to do something like, hey, those ideas were very different across the stream, but one thing was sure, hey, let's try something, do something. So that gave us the being persistent, right? And basically, like in 2015, we started out as what today Zepto and Instamart are doing, Flipkart Minutes are doing, the 10-minute delivery. We launched in 2015. That's what was Ninjacart, right? But in 2015, the market was not ready for our model. Everybody just wanted discounts because they wanted free delivery and they wanted discounted products, right? And being a startup, bootstrapped, we didn't have money to kind of keep on giving discounts. That's where we pivoted towards, okay, and also came from customer, right? So basically, 90% of our orders which we generated in the Zepto model that times had quality issues of vegetables. சரி நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுறோம், நம்ம வந்து கடையிலேருந்து பிக் பண்ணுறோம், கஸ்டமர் கொடுக்குறோம், பட் எல்லா ஆர்டர்ஸுமே வந்துட்டு குவாலிட்டி பிரச்சனை இருக்குது. சரி எங்கே என்ன தான் பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படின்னு போய் we just went and checked where they procure vegetables from, and that opened up. So similar to Coimbatore market, there is a market in Bangalore, Kalasipalaya போனோம், புரிஞ்சுது, ஓகே ஓகே இது டஃப் தான், ஏதோ பண்ணலாம், and that's where we started. So basically if I talk about Ninjacart, so we basically are B2B suppliers for all formats of retail and institutions, only for fresh fruits and vegetables. So we supply fresh fruits and vegetables, both domestic and imported, to all formats, ranging your supermarkets, your quick commerce companies, and also to restaurants, etc. If you order anything in Flipkart minutes in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai, it's Ninjacart's fruits. It's also also a very significant portion of Instamart's fresh fruit and vegetables. So if there's any quality issue, yeah.
Okay, thank you for giving the journey, what worked and what not worked in Ninjacart. Thank you. I think we will enter into the questions. Sir, Shyam sir, Dehaat touches millions of farmers daily. And if you take the smallholder farmers, it is very difficult to make them a digital first platform ready. But Dehaat has cracked it. How you did this?
Well, honestly, I would not say that we have cracked the digital first model, right? What we have cracked is how we can build a model around farmers which can work, right? Our model, as I said, it's digital and physical both, right? What we have realized, and it has evolved, right? Initially, if we take if we go back 10 years, right? Digital penetration had been fairly weak compared to what it has become post-COVID era, right? So post-COVID, definitely the propensity to use digital means has increased multifold in rural areas. Pre-COVID, that was not so. What we have tried to do was to provide multiple options to farmers to get connected with us, right? Multiple touch points will have multiple things which will work for them. And in Agri, if we have to intervene at farmers end, we have to be also present and be seen at farmers end, right? So a lot of our intervention points are physical, like we do field level demonstrations, we do farmer in-person trainings, we have a local micro entrepreneur for delivery of all the products and services to farmers. And there are calling facilities, IVRS, messaging, and then there are digital ecosystem of app and everything. And we believe that all of these will evolve and will keep evolving. We recently acquired an app, Agri Central, which has 10 million farmer downloads and around 1 million monthly active farmers. Those are the digital ecosystem. But even with those digital ecosystems, we believe that there will be need for in-person intervention with farmers. That is one. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I think the multiple points of contacts is the. I think that's why how you correct it, sir. Ninjacart is known for re-engineering the agri value chains, but we have, if you see, 30 to 40% of the food goes waste till it goes to the consumer. Where do you see the most problems, sir? Is it in the trust, infrastructure, or in execution?
Okay. So if I have to rephrase the questions, right? Hey, we lose 40% of food waste. 40% goes in waste, right? Now, not necessarily every time the problem is same. For example, right? Okay, போன வாட்டி வந்துட்டு அவர் தக்காளி போட்டாரு காசு பார்த்தாரு நானும் தக்காளி போடுறேன். So suddenly a lot of people start putting the same crops. I'm talking about horticulture, right? So where the perishability is very high and also the wastage are very high, which will be relevant to your question, right? So what happens is there is no planning in how is production done. Second, the market linkage, right, is also in a way that there are particular demand markets. There are source markets, there are demand markets. And the logistics is definitely a problem, so infra is a problem. And also, when it comes to a market, today, how the supply chain operates, there is bounce. So for example, let's say for a particular market, if 90 vehicles of onion comes, the price is good for the consumer, price is good for the trader, price is good for the farmer. But in place of 90, if let's say 135 comes, it's a crash. Because a particular market only can consume that amount of food, right? And because there is no moderation or there is no, you cannot expect it. This happens also in imports. So in that times, when the sudden fluctuation of overproduction comes in or over arrival happens, prices goes down. But you either sell it at a lower price or you dump it, like if it is not getting sold. Lastly, definitely storage. See, for example, if you harvest something, it has to be consumed within 36 to 36 hours. If you refrigerate it, few things will be good, few things will be bad. So today we see it as vegetables or fruits, but I think there needs to be a lot of category-specific innovations which should happen in supply chain. In whichever countries we see which export, if you see the Americas, they export apples. There is a supply chain for apples it's done. It is not a fruit supply chain, it's an apple supply chain. Similarly, like say for India, right, okra is very good for us, but I don't see we have an okra-specific supply chain. And I think innovations in terms of category will make sense for food wastage to go down.
That farmers' focus had been our core DNA, I would say. Then we realized that, okay, if we have to make it big and if we have to do commercial transaction, then we need to have a private limited. And then we started with our legal entity, what is private limited, right? And then, but that thesis of having an impact model, having a social enterprise had always been part of Dehaat's journey. Farmers' focus has been one of the core focus areas, and there is a lot of things that we do is towards how it is benefiting the overall ecosystem. I'll give you an example, and now it had become more pronounced. So, like recently we have launched our own food consumer brand, the Dehaat Honest Farm, and we were thinking that, okay, what would be the theme of Dehaat Honest Farm, which will be very much related to the core theme of Dehaat. And then it was like how we can create impact on farmers, both economically and also on the overall benefit related to for the crop, for the soil, and hence we launched this pesticide-free brand in the food under the name of Dehaat Honest Farm. The reason was that, okay, use of biofertilizers, best agricultural practices, regenerative agriculture, resource optimization in agriculture. All those things are getting centered around when farmers are getting outcome out of that, right? When they are getting better margins out of that. So both these socio-economic benefit had always been the core part of Dehaat in that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, when you say about logistics, many people hail traceability is the next big thing. Is it hype or reality?
Sir, first we should understand what is traceability. Right. Majorly, if a food you are taking, where is it coming from? Was it grown in the right way? Or the ingredients in it are good for the health? And how long will it stay, like its expiry, right? So this is traceability, right? Now today, there's so many people, right? If I ask you the cauliflower you ate or the tomato you ate, did you really think where it came from? I'm very sure they would have eaten in the last 2 months. Chennai would have eaten or Coimbatore would have eaten tomatoes from either Kolar or from Mumbai. There is a place called Sangamner. Okay. It comes. Right. Today, India as a market has not grown or matured where it makes a difference. Okay. Right. Traceability is a good thing for Europe because there is strict policies in place where they feel, hey, my population, if it consumes something bad, it's going to be bad for my human population. So nothing should be sold to them at these places, these things, right? But in India, we don't have that. Like, even if I get produce is good, for a few people it's a meal, for a few people it's a blessing. So in that sense, if you ask me today, even if I place one organic tomato and a normal tomato, everything looking the same, the normal tomato priced 5 rupees cheaper, I think the cheaper tomato will sell more today in the Indian context. I think we have to go a long way in terms of development. Few places, let's say in a population of 1.4 billion, the premium consumers are only 125 million, right? So for those, yes, but it's too scattered, too niche for it to become such a main thing. But if we invest in those things, as I said, category level supply chain, then suddenly you are competing with other countries who are exporting the same thing to other markets. There, it makes more sense.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think we will be soon, not now, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, we might go with traceability one.
Faster.
Faster. Okay. Shyam sir, sir, I think Dehaat may generate more than millions of data points daily. Now AI is making decision with those data. How AI will shape the next decade of farmers' decision? And you have all access to data.
So, our belief had been, we were very excited when Gen AI got launched, right? Because if you see all those benefits that we talk about from Gen AI perspective are something which is much, much needed in agriculture. And when it is relates to Indian farmers, right? Relatively low level of literacy, very different languages across the country, very different dialects across the country, not just literacy, but ability to write is even less than ability to maybe listen, right, or talk. So all those things make, and also post-COVID, and I was talking about like digital penetration. So people have started consuming very different kind of media on their phone, right? Not essentially reading news, but listening or watching, right? Things like that. So at their end, at front end, there's a lot of innovation that Gen AI can build for us. And many of us are essentially trying our own bits and also in partnership with a lot of tech giants or tech players to build something like that. On the back end, again, Agri needs a lot of innovation related to how data can be aggregated, how different data sets can be built together, processed, and used. Right? So I was talking from the use perspective, but from building together, also this needs a lot of investment. As a standalone players like us will have very limited way in which we can do that. To be very honest, right? It's something that a government with their Agri stack or data stack platform, a Google, a Meta, they can do that, and we become the carrier to implement them successfully on the ground. And that's what we believe that our role is to become that vehicle and also to give them feedback on what works and what doesn't work. But a huge investment anyway is needed towards building those programmatic model or agentic models for using these data points successfully.
Oh, thank you, sir. Sharath sir, whatever you pay farmers, farmers always says it is not enough or they are not paid enough or something like that. How will you arrive at a pricing mechanism at the same time make your logistics also scale at a profitable?
Okay. See, I'll tell you two things, right? Not only in India, right? Even Europe. There is nobody says, hey, I'm going to pay you higher. Okay? The whole world operates. If I'm getting a produce, there is another person giving me competitive, I'll buy from them. That's how it operates. That means if you tell we don't give price to the farmers, I think it translates to how well the demand is structured, right? Now, and to be very honest, farmers are not really, don't know anything, right? They know this is my produce, what is my current market rate, what market rate I should get. So for them, people are actually gambling with their produce. So they don't, for the least amount of investment, can I get the max price for my produce is a mindset of a lot of small scale horticulture farmers, right? Now, for somebody to really, because they're in the market gambling with their produce, so it's very tough. They have to go with the market. If they approach a market when the arrivals are higher, they're going to get lower price. If they approach a market when the market is good, then they get good price. Now, how many of these farmers have captive demand? Let's say if you are a farmer, I will only buy from you, then there is a reason I will buy only from you, which is availability. Now, consistency. Okay, I will pay you higher if I need not go and search for the different items from different people. It's okay, I will pay you 2 rupees higher, but Shiva gives me every time the availability. So there are other value adds which done. In the current way today market operates, it's very tough for a marginal farmer holder who does not have availability throughout the year. His crop is 3 months. After that, he just sells it in 3 days, then he has to wait for another 3 months for it to do. This is horticulture producer. Again, rice, for example, let's say I'll just give you some data points, right? Poland is 40 million population, but their apple export is 500 million. India is exporting only 10 million. We are 1.3 billion population. Okay, our exports of apple is 10 to 11 million, right? Dairy, we are the largest producer of dairy in India, of the world. We are not even in the top 10. Poland exports more dairy than us, right? It's in billion. They do billion, right? Our exports is like very less. It's just growing. It's just 400, 500 million types, right? Now, that means, hey, for our farmers to produce, somewhere, are we producing something that is market wants? For example, let's say we export a lot of rice. But if you see, right, basmati goes to Middle East. But a lot of parboiled rice, which is the major segment, right, goes to Africa. So your exports are targeted to countries which is not the economy which will pay you a premium, right? So somewhere our market structures, linkages currently even for exports, right, is targeting those places. Thailand exports our F&V exports are 3.5 billion, but Thailand does 6 billion, right? So basically, our demand markets has to be structured. We have to go to the right places to get for the price, because if you have excess, it's good to have, because we are the football of the world. One thing is we are overproduction, like we have football of the world. Now we have to find the right demand in various places, both within India and outside, for the prices to percolate, for the price to make sense. It's not just the price, right? If I'm able to sell just half of my produce at 100 rupees a kilo, but I'm able to sell all of my produce at, say, 90 rupees a kilo, I would still choose to sell everything at 90, not half at 100, right? So I think that's the way to look at it.
Thank you, sir. So we'll have one more question each, but this is in a general question. Consider today you leave both the jobs, not jobs, as a your or company. You want to found another new company. What is the one thing you do differently from what you're doing, and what you won't do? This is the question for both of you. And what an agri startup or a startup founder is there, what you will, it's not an advice, it's an experience what you want to share with the entrepreneurs who are sitting there.
I think it's very difficult to say that, because we do a lot of things and then definitely we overanalyze, or we say that, okay, in retrospect, what can be done better, right? But every journey has its own unique way of showing that what you can learn. From our perspective, I would try to answer in a way that we don't realize often, as an entrepreneur, that agri is heavily regulated. Okay, both agri marketplaces and agricultural input segment, it's very regulated segment, right? And if we are actually going to do something where we need to get into operation, where we need to work around farmers, we have to think that those regulations, how we can build our models around those regulations. Regulations in themselves will not change sudden, right? In our 13 years, no major regulation has so far been changed, right? So it takes a lot of time, and there is no dependency on that. So I think in any system, right, understanding the regulatory framework properly and then building a model around that regulatory framework is very important. Otherwise, sometimes it becomes difficult for some of the aspects of model to get a scale. That is one aspect, and I think the aspect that I will keep repeating and repeating is to build a team which is very much, you can say, mission oriented, right? For Dehaat, that had been a blessing, I would say, that people who joined us have joined with some sort of passion to do something good with farmers, good with agriculture. That kind of mindset, most of our team members, most of our colleagues, be it like a field level executive or be it like senior leaders, everyone carried. So I think that would be something that I would believe is very important for any sort of good journey to get succeeded, right? And journeys are often very long. Thank you. Yeah.
So I'll just rephrase your question. for this thing. So basically, you get the rendition, okay, what will you do again and what will you not do? What will you avoid? Okay. What will I do for sure is definitely that is team. Hey, the Ninjacart is successful because the initial core team that we built were egoless, believed in the business. We might fight like cats and dogs inside a meeting room because business first. But when we come out, we're going to come out and have dinner together. Right? So team is very important, which I'll come repeatedly do again. What I will not do, idu konjam 3-4 things I'll just tell, okay, because also I studied in Coimbatore, in KCT, then, then only my Ninjacart started, right? So KCT is my college. I never thought I'm going to come back to Coimbatore and then be in the stage. So that's why I would, and again, I see a lot of students, Coimbatore also here. So for them, it's like, hey, what to avoid is, what this mistake we did was, hey, we learned a lot of things firsthand, right? We did the mistakes and learned. Adu thavilla. As if you had listened to Ipope Mohan, right? Working in a startup, he just said that. Now, we should be ready to work in a startup. It's not about also starting up. What will one guy do just like that, right? So he needs a team. So when you yourself, today what happens with, especially with Tamil Nadu crowd is, hey, Wipro la worka, CTS la worka, anga pola, in a stable job. Startup layer, vanda, stable illa. Now, then you're stopping yourself from an environment which is full of risk. You will see the risk in front. What will happen? You might lose a job, fine, you'll get another job. And the mindset illa. So what I will avoid is not learn a lot of mistakes firsthand. Might be try to figure out from other people who have already done it and strategize a way. Okay, that is one thing. Second is definitely, I think, we pivoted too soon. Okay, might be we should have continued that business as well. So today it is relevant. So might be we would not have diluted so much. So I think this is what I will try to avoid in my journey going forward.
Thank you. I think we can conclude, but I just want to give a conclude. What's the one, or maybe say two important things I can say is build mission-oriented, egoless team. That is where your startup can succeed. That's what I think our unicorn founders, they have vision. I think that is where I think we can get one thing. And they have also told it's like the next decade of farmers' decision will be shaped by AI, and logistics will be traced by, backed by traceability. Thank you everyone for the opportunity. I thank the founders from Ninjacart and Dehaat for staying late also. Thank you.
Thank you.